Alrighty, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the evening show. We're going to go ahead and, as always, give everybody just a few minutes to pile in here. I've just sent out the alert. All right. What's up, everybody? Just going to turn the TikTok stream on. Should be good to go. What's up? I hate calling anybody your screen name. What's up, biker? Good evening. I hope everybody had a good day or stayed cash or kept your losses minimum. But we're going to go ahead and get started here with the news here. 1 second. My video. Perfect. All right. That's a bright ass screen. Okay. Let's go ahead and share this stream. One more place. There we go. All right. Let's go ahead and we're going to give you guys one more minute and we'll break into the news, just go over some of the top headlines, some of the earnings, and then we'll go over my watch list for tomorrow, as well as those major ETFs, whatnot. So, what's up? SPY predictions tomorrow for the meeting. I will get into that. First part of this is always just a little bit of a news. It's really, really important to recap and to just get a good idea of what the general consensus is going into the next day. So, all right. Looks like we got pretty much everybody's piling in here. I am live on YouTube. What's up, guys? You guys are welcome to join me on YouTube. Low latency there, so there's not much difference between the TikTok other than you can actually see my screen. Probably better vocals there too as well. I could change that actually. Never mind. I have my chart here. Oh, you guys are. Potter's I was banned. How to keep motivated? Just know that it's a wave. It's always a trough, right? And the low parts know they're necessary. Necessary in order to sometimes take that next leg up. So, all right, guys, let's get started with our news. No more delay. So today we had some pretty hot earnings. We also saw some yucky price action. Every index tacked into yesterday's gains. The Russell rallied about 0.85%. The S&P up 0.48%. The NASDAQ up 0.22%, and the Dow Jones up 20%. Natural gas futures gained 4.62% and settled at 14-year highs. The commodity is up 109% in 2022. Match Group gave up about 6.4% in extended trading following its fourth quarter earnings presentations. I don't know why I just jumped to that. 9 out of 11 sectors traded positive. Energy, by the way, signaled by Simple Stack's own Top Shelf Broker. So if you guys don't follow him inside of our Discord, make sure you guys check out his stuff. That it moved up 2.8% as the leading sector, while financials flew about 1.3%. I was in neither of those sectors. NVC was one of the top gainers here at 25%, and CRK at 9%. Tomorrow is obviously going to be a big day for the market. The Fed will make a rate decision in the afternoon, which we will cover in the length, obviously, in the recap tomorrow. In the meantime, you can we'll cover the semiconductors and the rest of the earnings here. So, excuse me. I'm like, should have gotten water. Do you actually trade? I actually trade for real. China band. Yeah, I got China band. Sorry, guys. So just to recap over here, AMD put out earnings today. AMD posted sky-high sales in Q1. The semiconductor company reported an adjusted EPS of $1.13 per share versus the 91-cent per share expected, a gain of 117% year over year, also posting beefy gains up 71% year over year, 5.89 billion versus the 5.52 billion expected. Those figures were pretty unprecedented outside of the growth of a SaaS business. It's actually pretty impressive that for a $138 billion company to post those kinds of growth, AMD skyrocketed 6.8%. And after hours, the stock helped pull up the broader semiconductor market with it. Nvidia actually moved up 2.5% for a gain in after hours. Even the Vanector Semiconductor ETF SMH, as you guys well know, floated in the positive territory today, up about 1% in after hours. So semiconductors definitely, and by the way, one of the reasons if you're one of those people who can just remember by hearing, but I like to take notes. So semiconductors, even if you just write whatever you got to do, but semiconductors, you could put a fire emoji if it's in your phone, or whatever the case may be, but put a little note there to remind yourself that is a sector that has the market's attention going into tomorrow. So if we do end up seeing moves from the overall market, right, on FOMC, maybe semiconductors give us a pretty good move. And I did discuss AMD's overall potential setup, which would likely be if we bounce here and start moving up towards this gap. We did take an after hours play. I'm not exactly sure where it's at in after hours. Let me go take a look really quick. Yep, so right towards that white line, that's 101. That was actually one of the targets that I had, is 101. But anywhere over 101 and 103.87, I'm looking to take AMD up to the 113, 114 level. So there we go. Lyft covering today. So disappointing results from Lyft. The San Francisco-based rideshare company offered an omen for the quarter's remaining impact earnings calls for the rideshare food delivery business. The company revenue and earnings per share came in above expectations at $876 million versus the $846 million expected, and a gain of 7 cents per share versus a loss of 7 cents per share. The beat can be credited to higher revenue per active rider figures, and the company pulled $49.18 versus the $47.07 out of his actor underbase. But the Lyft CEO said that its highest COVID-era revenue company report. It was the highest COVID-era revenue the company reported. Maybe it's America and the world have decided to put the virus behind them. However, the company's active figures were lower than Wall Street expected, and that all takes a start to cascade. And the company, obviously, that's all it takes to start a cascade. And the company had over 13.8 million active riders versus the 17.9 million expected. The lower active riders may have been one of the factors that influenced the company to downgrade its outlook for Q2 million to 1 billion. Analysts were looking for the figure to just touch over $1 billion. So anyway, Lyft was down like 26% in after hours here. So paper money? What about paper money? I see you decided to ditch the glasses. No, I didn't ditch them. I just left them on my couch. They're for seeing far away. So, all right, that's about it for the news. I just wanted to cover those things because those are pretty important. Um, Obviously, tomorrow, guys, we've got FOMC. Looking at the economic calendar, you've got trade balance at 8:30, ISH market services, ISM non-manufacturing index, EIA crude oil inventories, NBA mortgage applications, and then as well as that FOMC rate decision. Earnings calendar for tomorrow. We've got a tick up in companies. We've got Moderna, Mara, Etsy, Fastly, here, eBay, Uber, Fisker, all coming in tomorrow. So those are companies to watch as well. With all of that being said, my watch list is, of course, going to be on AMD to potentially pull off a rising wedge, and I may end up looking at after the FOMC. I may be looking at taking AMD to the upside, aiming for the 113 target. So, and that's just simply shooting for the downtrend. So, AMD will be on the watch list tomorrow. I also have Tesla, which has been a pain in my ass, but also has a pretty decent setup going into tomorrow as well. This one has an hourly bull flag. Now, the overall setup, we talked about this today. Tesla, in my opinion, how do I get the market carpet? What are you talking about? Something smoking? Nice. Welcome to the Discord. This is trading view. Heat map. I've tweeted it out today a couple of times. So Tesla tomorrow. Funny, you guys see that circle right there. That's where I stated that we could see a bounce and a fake out. That's in fact where we did. But what we have tomorrow going into Tesla is some pretty clean levels. One could even consider this a hourly cup and handle. Now, this is all set up bullishly, but we also need to keep in mind, and I will not be trading until the FOMC meeting. I will not. I almost thought about not doing my live tomorrow just to like really send it home that I will not be trading. So it's just a matter of a discipline and understanding historical market price action. We've done this multiple times before. We know how this goes. There's no need to repeat the same mistakes over again. Now, with all that being said, there's plenty of room for Tesla to chop, but I do have this speculative higher time frame, and you could call it a channel, or you could just call it a potential bear flag. I'm going to call it what it is. To me, it just kind of looks like a uptrend at the moment, but that puts Tesla's price target around 956. So that's where I will be looking to take Tesla to the upside if FOMC decision goes well. 921 and 925 are all targets to watch for potential long entries. We've got a pretty smooth sailing until 933.50 with good volume, which I expect off the FOMC, and then potentially 960. So. Yeah, 1 second. Huge green day tomorrow. The thing on top, that is a trade station. If you guys are hanging out on TikTok or whatever, make sure to leave a like. I do appreciate it. Look, fingers have a seizure. Let me alert one time. All right, there you go. So anyway, Tesla on the watch list, and you guys better believe it. I'm going to be watching Facebook now. I know that this is a rising wedge, and I know that we talked about the potential of the gap fill, right? And that can happen tomorrow. I'm curious to see what happens for Facebook, because here's the deal. A lot of the times people will see a setup like this on the hourly and immediately look for the rejection. And instead of looking at the key levels that need to break, they ignore them and they get burned. Facebook can and will break past that level and go straight up to 220, 226 tomorrow. That is a totally comparable and a possible move for Facebook tomorrow. So 220, 225. I'll be looking for that move over 217. I don't know if I'm going to be taking a position. There's a possibility for a straddle or something of that nature, but I'd rather just wait and do my proper entry and exit. So, is FOMC priced in? Most of the time it is. Yeah. We did dump pretty hard and we've popped up into FOMC. But in the grand scheme of things, we have dumped pretty hard for FOMCs. Did you talk about Tesla? I did, and I'm on YouTube right now, so you can rewind the live stream and actually watch it there if you want to recap or stop or pause or anything like that. So just to be clear here, on Tesla, right there, that 235, ultimately that would be the target. So I will be setting lots of alerts, and if the market decides to trend up off of this news or off of FOMC, there's plenty of attendees to be had. So be patient tomorrow. Don't jump the gun. And again, I may not even do tomorrow's live. Maybe I do it later in the day. So Roblox, please. I'll take a look at Roblox here in just a second. Yeah, we did catch that nice move on Facebook, but I was just a little disappointed. That's okay though. Might be a little greedy. But I did end the day red, but that was only because of a pretty stupid amateur mistake on my part where I thought I sold a contract because I heard my brokerage go bling, and it was in fact not, and I held the contract, so that contract ended up going pretty red. All right, so Facebook, Tesla, AMD, we do have a couple of swings. Excuse me, not a couple of swings, but we did take a couple of earnings plays. That AMD 106 call. Both of these were pretty cheap positions to get into. I also took BGFV. This was Big Five Sporting Goods. And in after hours, I believe, from what I saw, they dumped pretty hard. So this one's at support. Tomorrow could dump even further, and due to the expiration on these contracts, I will likely go ahead and dump the calls and let the puts ride down to support. So that's 1384. Most of the time, historically speaking, when the markets start the year off red, they often tend to rally. Another thing to keep in mind is a lot of your senators, et cetera, they are currently in November expiration options that are down. So you better believe that something might happen in order to get them, I don't know. That's just me being speculative. Maybe they take losses on purpose just to make it seem normal, but. That's not cool, dude. Really quickly, trades by 1K. I would never go into anybody's stream and try and get people to come into mine, but there's definitely a different way to approach that. Collaborating and something like that. But if you had anything worthwhile, worth sharing or worth value, you wouldn't have to do shady stuff like that. So, I'm gonna block this. So, but I guess if anybody wants to go follow you, but you just. Now, all right, there we go. Okay, that is it. That's it for me on the watch list. As far as FOMC rate decision predictions, I know everybody's asking, and we will take a look at SPY. So for everybody looking at SPY, this is the current setup that I have. I did have somebody point out that this may be a channel. It could be, but at the moment, I'm going to just throw out that it could possibly be this falling wedge. Both could be correct. We will see. It does not matter whatsoever, because at the end of the day, if we break below 413.25 tomorrow on FOMC, and I'm not talking about a 5-minute candle underneath it, I'm talking about a definitive break, I do believe that we will see a $400 SPY. If we do not, we have a hourly bull flag up against resistance. So those of you guys on TikTok, I'll zoom in a little bit for you. So this is your quintessential falling wedge, if it is one. If it's not, then it's just simply a channel. Again, I've stated my opinion on that. But at the moment, we're holding what appears to be an hourly bull flag. We've got good, clean levels. And if you guys were with us on the TikTok live a little bit earlier, we talked about how clean these levels are and where we could really see a price break for SPY. So right now, you guys saw where we chopped, chop here, chop up there, chop a little bit in here, but this zone between 418.75 and this 414.11 is currently the range that we are trading in right now. And I expect, again, if we break above 418, and this is just my thoughts, right? If we move up into FOMC, it's going to be hard to believe that we're going to continue moving up. But if we hold this range or bundle up against resistance, that may be a sign that I'm not going to take it as one until we just get a clear break over that 418.75, the first target. And again, if you look back, right, this is how we find targets. There is a heavy amount of consolidation and chop right there. So at that 418.80, you immediately break into this zone where you have 420.80, and that is really where things are going to get interesting, because above 420.80 and 421.50, that's where I would expect SPY to reclaim some moves to the upside. We do have an open gap at 427 that could be an attractive target for traders. So just keep that in mind. Again, setting alerts is literally the best thing that you can do in order to make sure that you're staying on top of these levels. So, what's up? How do you zoom in vertically? Oh, here. Is that better? I'm trying to like zoom in as much as I can. Hope it's better somewhat. Anyway, that's this is what I was referring to right here, this chop. So same thing with the Qs, guys, literally the same exact thing. This one did have an interesting wick up at resistance, which then set this little channel. So QQQ really above 421.50 and 422.41. Those are two levels to watch for the Qs to move to the upside. I believe... No, there's not. But the main target for the Qs past that would be 330. That is the major resistance above you. So anyway, if you guys have any questions or chart request, please drop those in the YouTube. $ and all caps. Drop the ticker name in the chat on YouTube, and we'll take a look at it. If you guys are on TikTok, it's definitely recommended that you guys do the same thing. So what is the green line? That's just a line that I'm looking for potential entry. I just went over AMD on the YouTube. Yeah, if you guys have any requests or want me to take a look at anything, let me know. Don't worry about the smoke, man. Nvidia. Looks like everybody wants AMD. Maybe I didn't go over it. I don't know. Let's go over AMD then. We'll start with Nvidia. So semiconductor, I believe this one did move up in after hours up to resistance, and that is at 201.25. That's right about there. So boom, 201.35, 201.25. That is that wick right there. That is where you see a heavy amount of consolidation. Now let's take a look at the daily time frame, because it's always very important to make sure that you are looking at your higher time frames in order to get an idea of where you are at. So I'm going to kind of delete some of these just because they're old levels. Well, we didn't ever go up from there, but we did go down. That's for sure. Okay, so this is a pretty standard, it's actually a standard deviation channel. This is a really beautiful channel. There is more room to the downside. And again, this one is, where are we at in after hours? I think I said, can't tell if that's a train or a tornado. We are currently up at 202.25. Tomorrow, above 204.35, which would be my final entry, there is a big target of 209.75. So that would be my target tomorrow. That is a major area of supply. Above that, you have a level of 218.50, and then finishing at 225 and 226 even would be where I would be looking at Nvidia. So. Yep. Everyone thinks we rally after FOMC. That makes so. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be trading the inverse reaction to the FOMC. It's not a separate software. I mean, it's on TradingView. So, anyway, so if we do end up melting up or moving to the upside off of FOMC and end up having a good May, then I would actually be looking at Nvidia to possibly go and hit this resistance 250. That's looking long. But I would say just in the short term, I would say 218.50 is where I would be looking at for Nvidia. I'm going to tweet this chart out. Julian, I don't, not really covering that right now, man. I'll look at swings going into tomorrow. I'm more of a short swing trader, so. FOMC rally. We were cool, yeah. But yeah, so normally what you guys can expect, historically speaking, is when the FOMC goes off, the first initial reaction that you see, you can play the inverse to it. That is just historically speaking, that's what we've seen. So, but anyway, Nvidia looks pretty good, sitting right there for a major retest of 210 and possibly even, I think, what did I say? 218 50 possibly, but I would say obviously look at 210 first. All right, next one we've got AMD. So this one, just like its counterpart in Nvidia, this one has a, I mean, so far bullish reversal pattern, but it's got a major retest zone at 101.88. And as far as I know, in after hours, it is currently up against $98 after tapping 99, not quite breaking 100. So I think tomorrow you might see AMD hit that 101.65. You've got $100 even and 101.65, and then your 4-hour 200-day moving average at 104.25. So this one again, FOMC bullish or bearish? I honestly feel like it's priced in, and so since we've dumped into FOMC, again, I'm not one to just make brash predictions based off my bias. I'm looking for, you know, legitimate. I'm using a strategy to identify which way it's going to go. So anyway, that's AMD with what looks like it could be end up being a falling wedge, but regardless, it needs to give you that hard retest of this supply zone. So Apple, yeah, FOMC meetings as well. I'm not really considering taking any longs. So, okay, so this is Apple's on the 4-hour time frame right here. Again, this is actually a lower time frame, but it does have a bit of a falling wedge. Daily time frame, if you step out, the chart is a mess. As far as downtrends or just trend is concerned, it is pretty wild. Support level obviously bouncing off of 150s back there and 153 this time. You're looking for a potential push up to 162. That's what I talked about this morning. You did close with an hourly bull flag, but you also have a doji on the 4 hours. So anywhere below 157.76, I would expect for Apple to potentially fall 152.44, and then above that 160.65, I would expect to push into 163 zone. So this one looks pretty clean setup. Yes, I will be trading live for FOMC, but I don't know if I will be trading live on YouTube, considering how late it is in the day. I may end up trading it live on TikTok, I think. So if you want to catch me on TikTok, that's probably if I do go live. I'm always going to be live in Discord, but if I do go live, it'll be there. So what's up, y'all? Many of falling wedges, yes, tons of falling wedges. All right, Tesla was the next one here. So I already went over this one, and I'll just reiterate what I've been talking about. So Tesla, we know that this one just moves, right? Huge dump, huge dump. We also get really, really nice moves to the upside on Tesla when it does have good setups. Huge pump, huge pump. And so we're at the place where Tesla kind of looks like it wants to give us a big pump. We've got an hourly bull flag like the rest of its SPY counterparts, and it needs to break over 920.75, 925, and ultimately looking to push past 934.11 in order to get to my 955 target. This one does have what appears to be an apparent hourly cup and handle, but this whole setup is what could be considered a bear flag. So, on the daily, as you can see. These candles are not what you like to see in a bull market. So I don't know. I think there's a possibility to test this downtrend, but really I'm just looking for supply, maybe 975, but it could take some time. And one thing that I want to bring up to you guys is a while back, and this is obviously a while ago, but there has been days like this, weeks. Like this is where you have to reflect, right? Right now, we're getting really clean levels. Here, not so much, right? This is awful, not really super tradable. Even this is not. It's more long contract, right? But you know that sometimes when chop is coming, and this could be the start of a very volatile and hard to trade market. A lot of options are going to be sold in areas like this. You set up an iron condor or something like that, with 980 or 780, I don't know, whatever you want to set up there, and you make money by selling premiums. So again, I'm going to reiterate it. We've had a couple of great weeks. We had a little bit of a lot of people closed green, but little bumps, and so we want to keep it that way. So anyway, that's Tesla for tomorrow. If we dump, that's going to happen below 875. Trading view. Scalping is likely going to be the best thing to do tomorrow. Not taking long calls unless you're trading with Rolly. He knows something else. Al WLT. I think that most hedge funds are bearish. It seems like on LT, but on a technical level, this does have a head and shoulders type setup. You've got a shoulder here, head there, and shoulder there. But this shoulder is not quite formed. One thing that you could be looking for is this little downtrend here and this trend here. It's a little messy. But anyway, it kind of, I would say that this resistance is more valid. So anywhere above $4.10, you may see a retest for outlet around 460. If you do not, you actually are holding what appears to be a smaller, lower time frame bear flag. So below 350, I would consider actually 344. 344, I would look at outlet to possibly return to the 280s. So, but all right. Let's see here. What's up, everybody? What moving averages do I use? I use the 20, 50, and 200-day EMA. Those are the most common moving averages. The 9-day moving average, I do use the whole ribbon indicators, which are two different moving averages. The whole moving averages, but I don't use all of them all of the time. So I do use and utilize different strategies that are good for me. So, and each one takes obviously, or sometimes I have attached different indicators to different strategies. So you going live tomorrow? Yep. I'll be live tomorrow. F Baba. Yep. All right. Any other request here, y'all? I know it's FOMC, so a lot of people are just waiting. By the way, I wrote down this anyway, but Cat has an interesting setup here. Watch Cat tomorrow above 218.10. You might see this one push up into the 222s. Otherwise, it may just continue to chop here. Nvidia. I did Nvidia on YouTube. You can just hop on the live stream right now and go rewind that. I love your video, man. Do you use bubble charts when looking for investments? No, maybe I should. Maybe send me some bubble chart links, and I'll take a look at them and see if I can throw them in my strategy. So you're thinking a likely initial pop off at FOMC and then continue? I don't think it's going to be that easy. I don't. Um, I'm going to be honest with you. I feel my first thought based on the setups is bullish, but due to years of torturing myself psychologically with thinking, well, maybe it's the opposite of what I'm thinking. I do have my doubts. I'm just kidding. But I do have my doubts about whether or not that is actually, since everybody's thinking it, honestly, it could present the opportunity to move down. But here's the thing: I'm gonna go live. I'm gonna maybe trade the first few minutes of the bell. Maybe. I actually might just not. I'm like my gut. I'll see how my gut feels tomorrow, but my gut's telling me not to do it. Um, I'm gonna trade the bell if it allows me, and then I'm gonna come back online at Power Hour, or not at Power Hour, but at FOMC. We will trade the reaction, and then we will go from there. So trade what the market gives you always. Trade what the market gives you. Don't force trades. Tomorrow, guys, if you guys come trade with me, I'm going to remind you guys to breathe. I'm going to remind you guys to sit back, be patient. A lot of people, even for me, sometimes I feel like I, have to narrate the situation. But really, a lot of the times, it's just a good time to sit back and wait for the market to set up. So, what's trending, in my opinion? Semiconductors, energy, um, certain commodities as well. So, yes, same software, trading view, heat map. You'll find it. It's pretty easy. How much do you need to start trading? So let me take this opportunity to answer this question, and then I'll get back to charting a few things if you guys are cool with that. How much do you need to start trading? You could screen record this if you want. For me, I don't think that there is a required amount. And I thought about this because I was asked this earlier, and I just, kind of wanted to think about it a little bit more. And I'm glad you asked. Um, I think that what you need is enough to play. That's it. You need enough to play. You don't need to put in $20,000, because what you don't need is you don't need the, I mean, some people come from different backgrounds, so $20,000 is 20 bucks, and they can just blow it. But for your average bear, if you have a lot of cash, it's not necessarily about starting with a lot. You can start with $100. And if you go out through the market and you ask other people, or ask myself, or ask one of my admins, hey, what's a good low premium stock? You can go and find stocks that are under $50, and I will tell you, my secret to building small accounts, sometimes even from $60, I've built small accounts, is to find a contract with low premium and a longer expiration. Why? Because if I'm going to buy this thing, I want to save a little bit of BP for the weekly, which is inevitably cheaper, and to hedge myself if I'm maybe wrong, to give myself an opportunity to exit. But then at the same time, I can utilize the expiration to hold to my target. And that's oftentimes how I build those small accounts and start them, and push them up, is I start patient, right? The goal for a lot of people is, I just need to get a lot of capital. And that, you're right, you do need to get a decent amount of capital to get the kind of gains that people on Instagram are trying to just sell you, right? Simpler trading and stuff like that. Those folks like that have $1 million accounts. So yeah, saying I had a $20,000 day to day is pretty fucking, excuse my language, but it's pretty easy. It's an easy thing to mention. When you're selling memberships for $200 a month to your Discord, and courses for $350, it's a lot easier to deposit that money back in. I'm thankful that my strategy resonates, and the way that I adjust my account every month resonates with traders from most trading groups, or like sectors, if you will. Because I'm resetting my account every month, just like I did when I had $500, just like I did when I had $100. When I hit my goal, I reset my goal, because here's the thing: when you hit your goal, you're not going to all of a sudden become a better trader. The goal hit may be what causes you to actually fall down and actually pull back. A lot of the times, your fear will set in when you hit a goal, because it's like, where do I go from here? Well, maybe start again, do it again, and this time let's find out how much further you can go, and set that goal a little bit higher. I just want to go up more than down. Understood. In UK, UFC, CFG stood at. Nice. Listen, if you're trying to message me, you're gonna have to message me through the Discord. So, but anyway, I hope that makes sense. Um, you know, it's not really. It's about how you do it. Um, you want to do it the right way. You want to give yourself time. Weeklies are gonna bleed you dry. That's a fact. 90% of new traders, I would even give it a higher percentage, but I'm being nice, are going to be losing money on weekly contracts 90% of the time. Facts. Like it is 100% the reason why people come to me, old, young, middle aged, doesn't matter. They all come to me, and it's like, look at my account. It's just a sea of red. And I'm like, well, all of these expire, this Friday or next Friday. None of these, you're all spread out and you have short expirations. You don't have any targets. You don't have any goals. No, I don't mean like in life. I mean like on the account. And so like those things are going to be hard to get through. If you have nothing to aim at, you're not going to hit anything. You're just throwing shit at a wall, to see what sticks. But anyway, what are you guys laughing about? I feel like the more I learn about trading, the worse I am. That's maybe okay. So I actually wanted to mention this earlier. Um, there's going to come a point, and I know I'm kind of getting off topic here, but there's going to come a point where when you're listening to somebody like me, you're going to have to stop listening to somebody like me. For whether it's just for a moment, just for a week, just for a day, just for a year. It depends. But at some point, you have to quiet the noise. And this is my belief, right? So if that requires, taking a step back or whatever the case may be, or just not. So here's what I would recommend. Here's what I would do. I would, if I had been learning from somebody and, I've learned the strategies, at some point you got to stop listening to them, right? Because now you've learned what you need to learn and now you need to go do it. So waking up in the morning, listening to the news, finding the sentiment, going over the watch list, listening to Charlie on Benzinga, marking out your key levels, not questioning yourself, right? Because not to be corny, but it's a leap of faith. Shout out Spider-Man. But it really is. It's a leap of faith. Trusting that you have put in the work that you've needed to put in order to, achieve your goal of whatever that may be. Dollar amount. So, it's up to you, and what you're willing to do. So. What's up, man? How'd you do today? Got caught in the chop myself. I got a little burned today too, but it was. I think stock tips guy. Yes. So that is a really interesting point. Somebody said that I feel like stock tip websites lead you in the wrong direction on purpose. Let me show you proof of that. All right, Motley Fool. And I want to show you guys something as well. Look at this. Snap short. Now I was. You shut that mouth. Okay, so September 19th, 2021. I was short on Snapchat and I set a $65 price target on Snap. September 19th is right here. And you know how many people laughed at me? For days? Days people laughed at me. And you know what I did? I averaged up. Not here, but as it fell back down. But my main thing is here, the day after I put out that my own personal short report, right? Motley Fool put out a buy recommendation, right? For everybody in retail, come buy. It's a good stock. It rips up to $83, dumps, forms a bear flag. People say it's still a good stock. Upgrades come in, and guess what? Earnings hits, and I made so much money. I made so much money on Snapchat shorting on it. When you know, and I felt it in my damn bones. And there's no way that that stock held $70. Period. Right? Snapchat does not have the firepower to hold a price target like that. And currently trading at $28. So I think I was right. But anyway, trade the chart. Yes, I subbed to Motley when I first started a year ago. Yeah, so I would say, for the most part, I am. Oh, I don't care. I don't care. I don't even care. Listen, look at Roblox. All right, I'm gonna talk a little shit really quick. So Roblox, in the face of Nancy Pelosi talking her shit, right? I called Nancy Pelosi. I called Roblox for an inverse cup and handle. Right here was the handle, right? And I'm just kind of basic drawing right now. The cup top right there. Here's your cup. If you need to reverse it, do it. And I think I signaled that somewhere. I forget when I signaled that. Like what day exactly. I could look it up on the Discord, but I know that it was around Christmas. Nancy Pelosi mentioned that she had bought Roblox calls, and I I doubled down. I told everybody I'm holding. This long expiration is good, and that's one of the beautiful things about going again. First of all, the chart spoke volumes about how people felt. Earnings had already spoken volumes. You have a great earnings, and then you shoot up, and then you just immediately start dumping within days of having a good earnings. To me, that's a sign that investors are not happy and definitely want to see better results out of the company. So all that being said, stick to your analysis. Don't be biased, and not like in your levels. So when the chart breaks your stop loss, so had Roblox broken 105, I think 105, it's really funny because when I entered Roblox, I set a stop loss of 105.50, and I think it wicked up to 104.78. So just a couple of cents. And all of these gains that I had made on that initial dump were gone. But guess what? We shorted the dog shit out of Roblox, adding weeklies, next week's. We swung this thing, and guess what? That's what's happening right now for a lot of stocks, is they are currently setting up to do some cool shit. So anyway, yeah, a lot of you guys did take that with me. So yeah. So again, it's not a matter of like what's most exciting. It's not necessarily being right, but it's the analysis playing out. The money's awesome, but just seeing something that you spot and you call out early, and then you see it come to fruition, full fruition. I mean, like this thing dumped so hard, and mind you, I was aiming for the gap fill. I wanted $77. But had I had just an inkling more, I think that we did take it again out of the bear flag going into earnings, but still. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking about that. We'll go ahead and chart the rest of these. Never mind. JPM, JP Morgan Chase. I do believe they have earnings soon. Oh no, they already had earnings. Financials had a good day today. Long term, or the chart long, looks like this, which this definitely, there's a channel for you. So currently, let's go look at the 1 hour. So now that we see the channel on the 1 hour or on the daily, we're going to go to the 1 hour and see what type of price action's happening here. We're going to start by marking out a couple of key levels. So even though they're far away, 127.28. We've got another key level right here. That's 125.65, 125, the psychological number. We've got another level here, which we hit today. That's 123.75. And I would say that these three levels are going to be the levels that JPM needs in order to break to the upside. You did finish with an hourly bull flag, and you are up against that resistance. And your next resistance is likely 125. Any move above 125 would probably a lot for another leg up, and possibly even that 130 resistance hit. So that's what I would be speculating here, is if this bounce does occur and you do follow through with the bounce, I would be looking for this tap of resistance on JPM. So interesting chart though. And another thing, this is your classic standard deviation setup, right? So anytime you see a channel like that, a lot of the times you can do a couple of different things, right? You mathematically, they already have the indicators. A lot of people will just clone, so the angle's the same, and they'll just bring that right down. But if you guys take a look right there, look at that perfect middle line. So this support, right, that 118 even, if you lose 118 even, that's where I would look for JPM to possibly dump down into the 110s. But again, you know, you still have this. So on a lower time frame, that's probably going to be the hourly again. Yeah, so on the hourly as well, there is your resistance. So again, now we have a confluence. You guys asked me about how I find solid targets. There you go. This is a solid target and a solid entry. So to double down on the 125.65 level that I gave you, that is also your downtrend, right? So above here, 125.75, maybe 126. That's where I would expect for JP Morgan Chase to either consolidate, or if you have good volume and financials are in your favor, or the sector is moving positively, then I would start aiming for the 130s. So good chart though. Bank of America, probably similar. Do you guys remember when I called that bear flag, or the big bear flag on the daily for Bank of America? Damn, that was awesome. All right, let's go to the daily. So enough bragging. Look at that channel right there. Channel break, channel retest, channel dump. Beautiful. All right, so now we're going to switch things up. So, okay, hold on. Let me show you what just happened. Do you guys know what just happened right there? That is a trend shift. So this trend line is no longer, it's not in play anymore, right? We have now shifted trends. And we need a trend shifting setup in order to change that, right? I would say that Bank of America's support, just like JPM, that looks a lot like, looks identical. It is JPM. It's the same sector. So there you go. Pretty much everything I just said on JPM stands for Bank of America. You're up against your downtrend. You need to get above 38.15. And that's also, again, another key confluence right there. Boom, bada bing, 38.30, money. What indicator are you using? I use a whole ribbon indicator. I already tweeted it out. How do I do quick trades? It takes me about 10 minutes with CIBC Investors Edge. If there's a faster way. Oh yeah, you gotta get like a brokerage, like a different brokerage or something. Best time frame to look at a chart depends on your trading strategy. What are you doing? Swing trading, leaps, scalping, day trading, a mixture? Cool. I think I did not do Snap. I'm sorry. So Snapchat looks like hot dog water. This could be a massive triple bottom. That will likely be confirmed above $32. That's where you will likely hit. There's 35. Your downtrend coming off the top. Otherwise, it does kind of look like a bear flag right now. But if we do have a down day, it does still have just a fragment of a gap to fill at 25.87, which is where I would say that it goes to, and then 24.34. So that's to the downside. The downside mark trigger is going to be 25.46 and $25. I got to do a video with indicators that I set up. I'll do one soon. I've got to. Yeah, I'll do it soon. I'll try and do it this week. All right. UAL. All right, so that's kind of surprising. So it looks like UAL broke a long downtrend right here. It looks like you're bundled up on top. So anytime I see this, obviously I want to know where are my key levels at. So you got one right there. That is the 52.75, as well as 54.30. The bottom of that level, or the bottom or the support of that level is going to be 58.70. And now I'm going to go to the hourly time frame to see what this setup actually looks like and where it needs to break. So you've got a downtrend there that has yet to be fully tapped. You're likely going to see something in pre-market, and then you've got that. So you got a little pennant type deal sitting underneath key level, both to the up and the downside, because you have a gap to the downside. So anywhere below 48.77, $54 mark. So HD, why is it moving on AMD? Because of earnings. Okay, so this is definitely one to keep on watch. Hourly time frame kind of looks like a head and shoulders. That looks really bad. Watch it below 299 psychological level and 296.50. But anywhere below the I would say actually 295. So 300 and 295. Anywhere below that, and you could expect Home Depot to possibly make new lows. Get it? New lows. But that level to the downside would be 288.35 and 285 even. So that's the marking the demand zone, major demand zone here and here. So if you were to break down below 290, expect for HD to likely bounce around the 260s. But otherwise, above 318.60, there's a good chance for some upside there. So. All right. I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. You guys have a wonderful evening. Disney? Yeah, absolutely. But after Disney, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning for the bell. Just a real quick reminder, though, I am not trading. So when the morning show is over, I'm actually, Ellie's going to come over, and I'm going to hang out with her to force myself to not trade. So I'm going to have a tea party instead of losing money on FOMC trading. So like we know, I don't care what happens. You know, I may trade the opening bell for a scalp, but I'm talking about day trading. I'm not. Nope, not doing it. Disney is hot dog water. The finest hot dog water. Damn, this thing is ugly. All right, so I don't really see any clean resistance coming down except for this one, which creates a channel. Disney is near the bottom of that channel. It's a difficult chart, I'm not going to lie. I actually kind of want to go to the weekly and chart it there first. Okay, so now that's a little bit clearer. That's why we go to the weekly. So there it is. So there's your downtrend, and it does in fact start off of that nice rejection there. So this is why we go to the weekly or go to a higher time frame in order to get a better idea of what's going on. So we've got a nice downtrend here, and we're nearing the bottom of that support. So Disney is likely to either bounce at 108.86 or might have already found its area to bounce as of now. So, but that's what I see on Disney. As being inside of this large channel. As far as levels are concerned, obviously there is the possible retest and that would, I mean, it's kind of far fetched, but the level is clean enough that if you got a reversal somewhere around here, that you would automatically be aiming for 128. So nice, yeah. All right, guys, that's it for me. Um, hot dog water. Yeah, there you go. Do you think that it will be a sell off? No, because I think that whatever interest rate hike is likely already priced in. That's my opinion, unless they raise the interest rates. But all right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow morning, 8:30 Eastern time, 8:45 Eastern time. We'll see you then. Peace.